Here is the glued up headrest. So those clamps worked well. This is the back side of it. You can see how I've got it clamped up. So I can adjust pretty much everything. I'm going to put a clamp here as well. First thing to do is make sure that it's vertical to the table that it's on. It's at perpendicular to the table that our jig is riding on. So this is where our calculation of the radius of this arc comes into play. And we figured that it was 30.08 inches, which is about 30 1/16. So from the tip of our router bit, which is a big 3/4 inch straight bit, all the way back to our pivot point is 30 1/16 roughly. And then to fine tune it, we're going to find the center point of our headrest, which is the line between blocks 3 and 4, billets 3 and 4. And we're going to drop that center point down and draw a line back. And that's where this has to be lined up to the center of this arc. The arc also has to be equally clamped between these two pieces of wood, which was done on a table, a flat table lifted up this amount from the table, this amount here, just with a couple of 2x4s on each side. Clamped it in here. Then we can adjust this jig up and down so we can cut one row at a time, back and forth till we cover the vertical distance. And then we will have cut an arc into our headrest. So this allows you to move the router up and down. It's got some wheels on it to go back and forth. And I've got this series of slots in this piece of wood and this piece of wood. There's a slot in the middle of this piece of wood, and there's a slot on either side. And then when we loosen these wing nuts, I can move the pivot point back and forth. So that lets me adjust the radius, an infinite number of radii. So I can play with it and go trial and error starting at 30 1/16. And I've done that, and that's pretty close to what it is. So this is our jig for cutting the inside radius. The jig for cutting our outside radius is sitting here on its end. It looks like a question mark. But it's going to have a pivot point as well. And it's going to pop over this, and the router will be facing this way. And we'll be able to go back and forth on that pivot point to cut the back arc, which is the radius of the inner arc plus the thickness of the billet.